So we're going to start with the ball in the upper back and shoulders today. I'm going to try some new stuff. So for this, we're going to just go a bit gently, obviously, around this area because it could be a bit tender. So we're going to try and place the ball in the top of the neck, well, sort of the bottom of the neck, top of the shoulders area. First of all, go to one side. So you'll probably need to hold your head to support, lie back, and just position your ball under the left-hand side. And there's lots and lots and lots of nerve endings, attachments. And I just want you to place your ball on the left-hand edge and just move the neck around and start to move the ball up and down this area of the neck. If you feel any sore bits, as always, or bumps, and spend a little bit more time there. And you're going to work from the top of the neck, the base of your skull, down the neck towards the delts and the traps, and find that big spongy bit at the top of your shoulders and work into there all the time, moving the head and neck around. And then once you've got into your neck, just get into the spongy bit at the top. So I mean here, where your traps poke out, where you would rest the barbell if you were doing a set of back squats, on that spongy part of the top of the shoulders. And we've been doing a lot of overhead stability work, a lot of pushing with the dumbbells this week. So I always find hot spots in my shoulders and neck. Just position that ball anywhere you feel you need. And then when we've got it in the top of the shoulder area, just start to move that arm like we've done previously, with the ball just sitting under the back, pressing into it as much as you can. You can make circles, internal and external rotation, testing out your shoulder range of movement as you squeeze into this area. Then I'm just going to move along my shoulder blade. Now this one for me is where all my niggles come. So tracking the ball around the edge of the shoulder blade, and then when you find a lump or a bump, again working that range of movement of the arm. And it will be sore, but that's good, and especially at a time when we can't get the massage. We haven't had massage for 16, 17 weeks now. So you might find there's a real build-up of lumps and bumps. So I want you to spend a little time just repositioning the ball, tracking around the edge of your scapula. And every time you come across a sore bit, just pause, rest your body weight into the ball, and then move your arm. Oh, actually feeling a knot jump as I move my arm around this area. Try not to hold your breath, try and relax. And just keep pulling the ball slightly further down, edge of that shoulder blade into the small areas of the scap. And when you move the arm around, you might find that wakes up some of the neuroreceptors in the back. And keep trying to press the weight in as you push into the ball. This is exactly where, if I'm going to get soreness through a massage, where it really is painful. You can do this with the ball up against the wall, but I do think it's more effective when you're lying on it and using that arm movement around. Ay, ay, ay. I feel like I could spend hours just on this part alone, but we're going to move slightly onto the side in towards the lats now, perhaps in towards the back of your delt, rotator cuff area, slightly underneath your shoulder and armpit. Again, if I'm just lying slightly on my side, pressing that ball into my lat, it's fairly tight all around there from all those pushing, pulling, pressing movements, snatches. Again, trying to use some range of movement through the arm as I'm releasing. You might want to work in, if you do get rotator cuff issues and shoulder issues, into the back of the delt here. And again, always using the movement of your arm. For me, this is tight, but not as bad as around the shoulder blade at the back. Just feeling around your own body and starting to get to know where your hot spots are. I'm just going to push back into my middle of the back now, really on the edge of the scapula, around the thoracic spine, in an upward downward movement now of the back. You might want to be on your elbows if it's too painful to lie back. Again, start moving the arm. As that ball is releasing some tension in the mid scap at the back. Often there's a little knot just in the mid, almost like it's poking behind your shoulder blade. And see if you can press the ball into that area and then do some movement on the arm. Quite tender here and quite sore. Okay, so let's go to the other side and see how that feels. So starting again at your neck. spend a little minute. Might need to hold the ball in position just at the top of the neck, running down the outside and just moving your head from side to side as you're starting to wake up the back of the neck. And then moving down into the top of the traps, thinking about the big soft spongy chunk of muscle on the top of your back. Without having the barbell on our backs for back squats, that's always quite a good release of tension when you press the barbell into the top of the shoulders. It's been a while since we've done that. And then traveling down and starting to explore around your shoulder blade. Start at the top, think about tracking around the edge of the shoulder blade. And just start at the top where the traps and the shoulders start to meet. And again, you'll feel all kinds of lumps and bumps here, so use the movement of the arm to explore this area. You might feel some crunching and some bumpiness. You can rotate the body and self-massage into this ball. That's why it's really good doing it on a hard surface like a tiled floor. Just maneuvering your body around the ball, and then if you find that hot spot, spend time moving the arm. So important for us to spend a little bit of time releasing the upper back and shoulder area. Just gently supporting the head with the other hand if you need to. This side for me is a lot sorer than my left. Quite common. I'm traveling down now a little bit lower, the mid scap area, thinking about pressing the lacrosse ball kind of like underneath that shoulder blade. Oh, crunch, crunch, crunch. It probably shows how long I've left this with the amount of tenderness I'm feeling in this area. Been a little bit ignored for a few weeks. Oh. And then just coming down towards the bottom of the shoulder blade, around that bottom part, and then turning slightly into the lat, which again, lots of soft tissue. The lats play a pretty important part in pressing over the head. So you might find they are feeling a little sore and tender too. And some people get issues with the rotator cuff and the back of the delts, back of the shoulders. So I feel we could spend quite a lot more time on those areas, but we'll move on, and then you can come and revisit those later on this week. So we're now just gonna finish by pulling the ball from the top of the rib cage down the back. So I'm concentrating first on the right hand side, top of the rib cage, down the squidgy part of the back towards the pelvis, top of the pelvis. And again, for those of you that are sitting at the desk for long periods, this is another area, that mid-lower back, that can get ignored. And then when we come down towards the pelvis, and you can start to feel the bony bit at the top of the pelvis, it's good to get around that. So start to work in, almost like you're in the back pocket, top of the glute area, and find that bony bit. And then, you know, I like to come round the side of the psoas into the hip, and then just drag it down the front of that hip flexor area. And this time we're in the front pocket. Okay, good. And then back onto the left side where we started this morning. Again, starting just at where we left off, top of the rib cage, and dragging your balls down the back, just slightly left of the spine, to the top of the pelvis area. And then when you get there, you maybe want to be on your elbows, track around top of that pelvis, the bony area, you can feel it. Don't be shy, get some good pressure in here. And then start to move on to the side. It can be a bit lumpy and bumpy in the side of that pocket as we drag around into the front of the hip. Hips don't feel quite as bad as I expected. Definitely for me this morning, shoulder blades, middle of the back, top of the back is my hot spot. So this week that will be my focus. Okay, so pop your balls just to the side, and let's now go through a few movements to try and release things. So first of all, we'll just start kneeling and sitting. And for me, that's just a nice position to sit in and feel a stretch down the front of the quads, trying to press the front of the ankles into the mat, rocking slightly from side to side. And then just interlock your fingers behind your head and neck, tuck your chin in, and then gently pull the neck forward. And you're going to try and feel a stretch down the upper back and shoulder area, down the neck. And as the chin touches the chest, you'll feel the release across the upper back. And just pause and hold and just pull the shoulder blades apart. And then release. And now press the hands into the small of the back and lift the chin up and flare the elbows to the back. I want you to really pull your chest up. Feel the squeeze as you pull those elbows towards the back. And release the hands from the back, and now just lift the arms straight with the fingertips up, and just with the arms straight, pull the arms far as back as you can, and then just come into the kneeling up position and try and pull the arms back. Some overhead mobility. And as you bring the arms down, just make a couple of big circles here. And then just come into the all fours position and lift through the upper back. Tuck the chin in and separate the back, the spine. And then just twisting from side to side as you press your hands into the mat. And let's feel a bit like a snake. Get some mobility through the thoracic here. And then still, and tuck the tailbone down, lift the chest and arch through the spine, draw the shoulder blades back. Feel a really strong release in this cat camel. And then just turn the toes under here. I want you to press your butts into your heels and then just relax at the elbows and draw the chin and the head, forehead onto the mat. We're kind of in a relaxed child's pose, but the key here is that your butt is as low to your heels as you can. Forearms on the mat, elbows bent, and I'm just connecting my forehead to the mat. And then pull the hands down towards you, place them flat on the mat, and then just picking the elbows up, press the elbows forward and stretch. This is a great stretch for the lats, shoulders, and the wrists as you pressure into the mat. Then just draw the hands a little further back towards your knees, press the hands flat into the floor, and again, elbows high and forward and out, still resting the head onto the mat. I can feel a nice big stretch across my upper back and into my lats here. Okay, release and just come back onto all fours. So leaving the hips high, slide down your mat and try and get your chest as close to the mat as you can here. Keeping the hips high and creating this big curve in the spine as you press the forearms into the mat. You feel the shoulder blades retracting and drawing back. And trying to get some flexion through the spine with the hips nice and high. Oh, that one feels good. Okay, and then we're just going to press the left arm across the mat. We've still got the hips high in that nice shoulder stretch, and press your ear onto your bicep. Looking to the side and really feeling a stretch through the left lat and the left side of the body, opening up that rib cage. Thumb on top. And then switching to the right arm across. Using the head to press down and create more stretch through the side of the body. Okay, then just reposition your hips high, and let's go one more time, straight forward, pressing down with the chest towards the mat. Oh. Okay, just coming back up to all fours, turn the toes under, pressing back onto the heels, press the heels together, flexion through the big joints of the toes, leaning back to get a little bit more weight through those toes. We'll take a second to open the hips. So now lunging forward, release the flexion in the back foot to the toes flat onto the mat, and just drive forward towards the edge of your mat, stretching out this back hip. We're going to drop the hand in and twist open. Okay, and then the front foot towards the right hand, and then just drive the shins square with the edge of the mat to this strong hip stretch. You're going to feel the outside glute, that's where it should be stretching. It doesn't matter if your shin is not on the mat. What matters is that we've got that square edge position. Holding this stretch, and you can feel it in the outside of the glute. Okay, and then just gently drop your butt cheek onto the floor. Pull this foot in, and if it's my left knee that's at the front of the mat, left arm extends forward and just stretch. Forward and over. So I'm now lying on top of my shin, my body and everything is dropping into the mat. Pressing my left hand as far forward as I can to feel the stretch on the left hand's edge, outside edge of my glute. And just relax your breathing, guys, here. Just try and relax everything into the mat. Okay, gently coming back up onto all fours. Pull that leg out to release. Drop the knee down and step through with your other leg. Let's start with a nice long, stretchy lunge position. toes turned under at the back, lunging forward just to open up the left hip at the back. And then when we go into this pigeon, it's going to be my right outside glute that I'm hoping to feel the stretch. So left hand onto the mat, right foot comes in, and then I just drop square straight into that pigeon. And straight away the right hand edge outside glute gets the stretch. Doesn't matter if this knee isn't on the mat, mine isn't. What matters is that you're square to the edge. And you're feeling it, and that's great. If it's happening in the outside of your glute, then happy days. All good. Hold this position just for a minute. I think I'm getting a bit stretchier in my hips every week. And then drop down and relax the front leg out. And then take the same arm as the front knee forward. Big exhale and drop your body into the mat. Wow, my right glute is so much tighter than my left. Just let the body go heavy through this stretch. I feel like I need a year here in this position. Feels so good. Just whenever you're ready, just gather yourself back up. And if it feels good, we're just going to shoot straight into down dog from here and get a little length through the hamstrings. You can use the feet to walk the heels. That helps to release some tension, or you can try and press your heels flat into the mat and drive the hips high. Feel the release down the back of the legs. Okay, that's coming through then to a position where you can get into a deep squat, as deep as you can. Allow the back to flare here if you need to, that's fine. Just a little bit of twist, a little bit of movement. Your heels want to be a little wider than shoulder width apart here. And we are wedging our body in between our legs. And I just want you to then press the hands forward and rock onto the toes. And in doing so, use this position to open up your groin. So as you press into the toes and let the body hang forward off the arms, you'll feel the groin opening, a little stretch on the inner thighs. And then just sit back onto the heels and just extend the hips high, and then back into deep squat. So we're switching between extension, where we're feeling a little length in the hamstrings and the lower back, and then back into deep squat. Three or four times here, just switching between movement, and every time just pressing a little deeper into the hamstrings. And then again, just press the hands forward, rock onto the toes, and allow your knees to spread wide to open up the groin. Feels good. And just rock back into your deep squat. Gently lift the hips and come to standing. And just a minute just to roll the hands down the bum, lift up, tall, pull the shoulders back, twist. And then grab the hands in front, round off the shoulders, tuck the chin in, separate them. And we'll finish in this rounded position and just drop through the forward fold, pausing to release the lower back. Those of you that have sore lower back issues, just spend a little time rounding off. Allow the weight of the body just to feel some vertebrae extending. Just drop the fingertips to the ground. Everything feels heavy and relaxed. Fingertips under toes if you can. And release. Thank you very much for coming on. I think I needed that more than I thought. Definitely going to get this ball into my shoulder blades a few more times this week. And the old right glute needs a little bit of attention too. Lovely morning to spend with you guys. So that video will go up online today and onto YouTube. Those of you that are wanting to do cardio, just wait there. If you're not, have a lovely Sunday. See you tomorrow. If you're doing the cardio, just pause and I'll come back.